Welcome to Grandma's Tidbits. I have a cold, so I hope I get through this all right, but it's a winter. There's a lot of them. I've got lots of them, and I want to share them with you. This one's entitled The Best Man Possible by Gladys Dunlap. And so, ladies and gents, we can expect another sunny day in Las Vegas with general temperatures between 105 and 110 degrees. I've been there. That's hot at that time. Have a happy day and keep cool. For the two children and me, that weather forecast in the summer of 1959 meant a choice of staying in the house with an air conditioner that went on strike more often than not, or jumping into the kiddies' plastic pool to keep cool. Since I had the station wagon for the day, my husband belonged to a carpool, I decided to call my friend Mary, who had 3 children of her own. Where could we all go for a picnic to keep cool? I asked her. She suggested Mount Charleston, which is located about 35 miles outside of Las Vegas. Mount Charleston is 10,000 feet high, would be cool on top. We packed the picnic goodies and loaded the children into the car. We were soon on our way. After turning off the Tonopah Highway, we started up the first big incline to the top of Mount Charleston. I had driven only half a mile up that incline when I noticed steam pouring out of the hood of my car. I pulled to the side of the road, let the engine cool down somewhat, and then checked the problem. I'm not a mechanic, so I wasn't sure what I was seeing. I did know we had a new radiator placed in our car, so why was it losing water? Because we live in the desert, we carry water in our car at all times. I took one of the gallon jugs and poured the water into the radiator. We will have to go down the mountain and find a service station, I reluctantly told Mary and the children. They will figure out the problem, I hope. I turned the car around to go down the incline, and within minutes the car was steaming again. I turned off the ignition and with the brakes off decided to coast the rest of the way down the incline, praying that when I came to the highway there would be no traffic as we crossed over to the other side onto a desert road I had seen previously. As I approached the highway, no cars were coming either way, and we crossed over safely without having to stop. I then offered another prayer that I would be able to flag down a motorist for help. The desert heat was about 120 at that time, and I was concerned for all of us. I had no sooner stepped out of the car when a green car pulled up behind us, and 2 men dressed like policemen with white gloves stepped out. They walked toward us, asking what our problem was. After I explained my troubles, they walked over to the front of the car, peered inside the engine, being careful not to touch them with their white gloves, and told me what I already knew. You have a bad leak of some kind, they said. We'll get someone who can help you if you wait here. They promised it as they got into the car and drove down the road highway. The men promised that. There was some kind of a ranch at the end of the road where they could get help for us. In the meantime, the children were becoming hot and restless in the car. Mary and I let them out in the road to play, telling them that there were pretty rocks and pebbles to be found. Stay away from the bushes and holes, we warned, knowing that the desert was infested with rattlesnakes. Since it was so terribly hot, I doubted the snakes would be out of their holes. About 3/4 of an hour later, an old red pickup truck with a large water tank and back pulled up beside my car and stopped. A tall, thin man stepped out of the pickup. He wore a sweat-stained, dirty old baseball cap. The matted hair that hung from his cap was all greasy like his face. With several weeks' growth of beard and a mustache, the man reminded me of a grease monkey. I didn't care how he looked, though, as long as he could fix my car, so we could get on our way and get out of there. To me, it was an answer to prayer, an angel of mercy, if you please. He quickly came over to my car, looked in and around the engine, and then asked, "Do you have any electrical tape on hand?" I checked inside the car but could not find any, so, visibly perturbed, he walked back to his truck and got some of his own. Suddenly he began yelling and gesturing to the children, who were playing quite close to his truck. He looked like he was throwing a fit of some kind, and it scared not only the children, but Mary and me as well. After he gained control of himself somewhat, he told us that he kept live rattlesnakes in a metal box attached to the back of the pickup. I guess he thought the children were going to investigate, but I told him indignantly that the children were just looking for pretty rocks. After taping a hose which had a large leak in it, he filled the radiator with water from the tank on his pickup. "Go back to the highway," he told me, "and drive towards Las Vegas for a good 7 miles. You'll find a service station that will take care of your needs." I thanked him and offered to pay him the only $2 I had in my purse. He glared at me and told me, "I don't need your money." He stomped over to his pickup, turned it around, and headed back toward the ranch. His disposition indicated that he was not a happy man. Do you know the story I'm reading, Mr. Weiss? Good. With relief, he knows how it turns out. With relief, we pulled back into the car and headed down the highway, following the man's instructions. When we pulled up to the service station, 2 attendants came running over to my car, pulled up the hood, and proceeded to replace the tape hose with a new one. Mary and I looked at one another in amazement. I hadn't even told them what was wrong with my car. "I have only $2 with me and cannot pay you more than that right now," I apologized after thanking him for their quick service. "That's okay, ma'am," they replied. "All of this has been taken care of, and there is no charge. You're as good as new." Again I was amazed and thankful. "Please tell him thank you," I called, and we were on our way. "Mary," I turned to my friend, when the good Lord answers prayer, he does it in a big way. He answered more than we requested. Then we thanked him for answering our prayers. A few days later, Mary called me. "Check the front page of our Sunday newspaper," she yelled excitedly into the phone. Retrieving the paper, I saw a picture of a tall, thin man in a tuxedo with a lovely blonde woman hanging on to his arm. "So?" I asked. Then I looked at the man more closely. He didn't look very familiar. Without the hat, beard, and dirt, he looked like the man who had fixed my car in the desert. I showed the picture to the children as well, and they thought the same thing. He was our man, all right. Profoundly interested now, I read the accompanying article and found that this man was billionaire Howard Hughes. He could, the article explained, put a plane together and take it apart. He was a wizard in the field of mechanics and flew jets like an ace pilot. His ranch was located somewhere outside of Las Vegas. No one knew the exact location. The ranch was closely guarded and protected by the government for security reasons. Mary and I had a good laugh about the location of the ranch, for we felt certain we knew its whereabouts. Those policemen in the green car were without a doubt the security guards who made certain that we did not come any closer to the ranch site with its laboratories and other buildings set up for government research. I learned later that Hughes, when on the job, became attached to his dirty old work clothes and never bothered to take them off for weeks. This explained to Mary and me why he looked so filthy when he helped us. Maybe Hughes was no angel, but I know that God heard my prayers in the desert and sent me the best man possible to fix my car. Who else but Howard Hughes? God bless you.